This tennis academy, which wakes up at 6:30 every morning, is a home, sometimes for many years, to children who wish to improve their game and work hard at their academic studies. It embraces the idea that education, physical exercise and mental stamina are essential to building the character of a growing student. Many world-class tennis athletes have been trained here. Can their achievements be attributed to the relentless enthusiasm of one man, Nick Bollettieri? To what extent has the vision of this coach allowed and stimulated the development of Jim Courier, Monica Seles, Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi?
Every child that comes here does things in a different way. So if you study their way and you cheat and steal from them, it helps you become better because I'm learning every day.
Nick is someone who's given his life to the game, you know, and he's given a lot to a lot of people, myself included. I don't know where I'd be now, but I don't think I would have been nearly as successful as I've been. You know, Nick gave me an opportunity to come down there and train with the best juniors in the world, and it really, you know, all that practice, just beating up against each other, we all pushed each other higher and higher. And I couldn't have gotten that in Dade City.
He's an extremely good motivator. I've seen him work with Andre in the past and Celis, and he's got a lot of energy, and you can't say that about a lot of coaches. He's always been very nice to me, and he's always upbeat. He's done a lot for himself. I mean, he was basically the first one who started the whole academy business, you know, from Nick, and he came to the Saddlebrook and the Harry Hopman, but Nick was the first one that basically started, and he's been, you know, very successful. You know, as a person on the street here in the United States or in Europe, you know, who's a good coach? You know, the first person is Nick Bollettieri.
Bounce back quicker. Coach's choice.
First with Arias, when he came out, the biggest forehand in tennis at the time, and people didn't say anything like it. And then Krickstein and, you know, and Carlene Bassett hit so hard, and, you know, myself, I think he's added a lot to just a level of tennis as a power sense goes, you know, just dominant tennis playing, aggressive playing, and that's what it keeps tennis striving, you know. I don't think you're ever going to see another #1 player in the world who's under 6 feet tall, you know. It's like everybody's now going to be big and strong because you need to be big and strong, and he taught you how to do that even if you weren't big and strong.
Good morning.
Hello.
Big and strong or small and strong, all here at the NBTA, the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy, have to start daily routine with the warm-up. The young Anna Kournakova, who has made the journey from Moscow to Bradenton, is no exception.
The warm-up. How important is the warm-up? You know, quite often students come to the tennis courts, all calibers of play. They're so anxious to get on the tennis court. They go right to the baseline and they start banging the balls. I don't recommend this. Why? First of all, you can have an injury. Second of all, you're not really prepared. You're not warmed up. You're not mentally into it. And third, by warming up, you learn how to use racket head speed. I personally feel the warm-up is one of the most neglected parts of the game.
From the power pit.
The academy is situated a few kilometers from the Gulf Coast, on the outskirts of a secluded Floridan town, Bradenton. Coach Bollettieri is the driving force behind the constant battle to maintain sponsor relations and stay on the cutting edge of tennis.
this is my life and this is where I belong, but I don't know whether most people realize it or not, that I spend approximately 8 hours a day on the tennis court besides being in the office, and this is the part I'd never give up.
The first thing that strikes the visitor's eye is that the NBTA is programmed 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, to thinking and breathing a lifestyle devoted to punishing a tennis ball. Can these drills, supervised by Nicholas James Bollettieri, build a champion from scratch, or does some talent have to be there to begin with?
Athletes and champions are born. I don't think that you create a champion. Come on, big boy. I think there's certain things that are there, low to high, and then if the person's willing to pay the price to have them taken out from him, they can really become somebody. Like a cane, then you bring your racket back up to here, then you decide to hit the ball, okay? Now, if you can show me the benefit of going down, up and back down, I'm going to put it into my teaching. Keep your head still. No, you can't. So you
One of the original ideas of the teaching here is that there is no single perfect method, no right or wrong way of playing, for example, the volley. Each child comes with his or her own style of play, and the academy must adapt its program to accommodate this.
Get the racket out here in front. Let's get down ready that you really want to volley. Come on.
Because the age levels vary considerably at the NBTA, the instruction must also be flexible. Each age category will have to learn certain basic principles that can start as soon as a child is strong enough to hold a racket and correctly judge the distance of an oncoming tennis ball.
It all begins right here, the single most important group in the world, the tiny tots. They're having lots of fun, playing with the toys and with their little dogs. And who's right next to them? Their mom or their dad, or perhaps both of them. Their brothers, their sisters. They look over, and if the mom and dad is having fun, who knows? They'll say, "Mommy, can I hit the ball a little bit?" And here's where it begins.
That's the way to swing, right at me. Swing it right at me. Let me see it again. Attaboy. Good shot. Let me see it again. Attaboy.
You want to be a tennis player when you grow up?
Yes.
And would you like to play on the WCT tour, maybe with Jimmy Connors and Ely Nastasi and Harold Solomon and Rod Laver and all those guys?
Yes.
Now we're looking at 10 to 12-year-olds, 2 boys and 2 girls. Having fun, yes, but they're beginning to develop their style, what they'll do naturally. Notice they're starting to move, developing some racket speed, keeping the ball in play. What's their next step? Playing out some points and even, what, a few tournaments. The group you're now looking at is the intermediate, the good solid intermediate. 3 or 4 years of play, and they're working on one of the most important strokes of the game, the serve. The serve and return to serve are essential to making the big time, or becoming the best that you can become. What we're now doing is working on consistency and placement of the serve. Just getting it in the box is not enough. And they'll work on this each and every day. You can't spend enough time on the serve.
Y'all ready for this?
The Top Guns, whether it be our group or your group, these are the kids that are almost there. Not only are playing points every day in games and tournaments, they're preparing for the professional life or the very elite college. In fact, one of these young ladies just beat Capriati, the #5 ranked player in the world. It's all business. Yeah, there could be some humor in it, but this is business. It's not only hitting the ball, it's when to hit it, how to hit it, and who hits it last.
North Miami Beach, this is where it all began in the early 60s. Nick Bollettieri, the second child of a not particularly wealthy Italian businessman, came down to Miami University to study law. Giving a few tennis lessons for $3 an hour was originally no more than a way of earning pocket money. But soon, on these two now rather dilapidated North Miami Beach concrete tennis courts, the young Bollettieri came to realize that this was his world. The lure of the sun, the sea, and the game itself seemed to him a more exciting prospect than slogging through law school. The success of these early years rapidly spread. Bollettieri got a job as private coach to the Rockefeller family and later settled in Bradenton as director of tennis at the Colony Beach and Tennis Resort. It was here that he started the revolutionary concept of a year-round junior academy combining tennis training with private school education. His small corps of instructors were notorious at the time for insisting on rules and regulations, for trying to install tight discipline.
Now, come on, Stacy. It's a matter of getting your brain going. He hits his overhead like a girl. Make him hit the overhead.
The coach can take only so much credit. You know, when they say that the coach develops a champion, you only develop the talent that's there. I think the champion's there to begin with.
Word got around, the system began to work. Top junior players like Aaron Crickstein and Jimmy Arias were drawn to Bradenton. Nick tried to convince them that good behavior on the court was as important as playing the right strokes. The idea seemed to be that tennis is more than just hitting a ball.
When I came here 3 or 4 years ago, I had the worst temper of anybody, just about. I'd get mad every time I missed a ball, I'd crack rackets, I'd do everything. And I came here, and every time I would yell or throw a racket, Nick would give me a 5,000-word essay to write on why I shouldn't throw my racket. And pretty soon I was writing a novel.
Writing a novel to prevent this kind of scene.
I get screwed because the umpire's in his place. What the hell is he doing on the court?
It definitely is disappointing a lot of times when you get calls that go against you, but you know, if you take somebody's whole career, you know, and you line up the calls they got against them and the call they got for them, you know, I mean, they're not going to be much difference. They'll more or less be equal.
Too many children were now living in the Bollettieri home. Nick was forced to borrow money to buy a rundown motel on Manatee Avenue, still in Bradenton. He found himself having to take care of everything: cooking, cleaning up, driving the bus to school, making sure that the kids didn't sneak out at night.
I never considered those as tough times. I consider those as great learning times, and how fortunate I was to be able to come up, you know, through the ranks rather than just go out, be handed a big club or a big academy. I think it was fantastic to share with other coaches and to learn the business, you know, through the ranks.
When Carling Bassett first turned up at the fledgling academy, she was no more than 11. The younger daughter of a rich Canadian brewer, she seemed right from the start to be exceptionally gifted. A few years later, she had reached number 8 in the world in women's tennis.
Carling had a great backhand, her forehand was fair, her serve was fair. She'd sneak in volley, but she was a great competitor, and she knew how to win. And that's why she did so well, and she was a beautiful young girl with blonde hair, and she had the big smile, and her dad was fantastic, and a lovely mother, and that's what made Carling unique. They made the most of Carling Bassett.
When I'm on the court, I don't want to lose. I mean, inside, I just hate it when I lose points, and when I'm down, I figure, why give up when you still have a chance to win, so try to fight it out.
Carling takes off because, in her mind, successful tennis was a springboard for new adventures. In constant demand by photographers and commercial film directors, she could not resist.
Since Carly's turned pro, you know, she thinks she's got the world now. Doesn't practice anymore or anything. We have a movie star and a tennis player here now.
Nick's theory was to get me a weapon, and my forehand was my biggest shot, so he went for working hardest on my forehand, basically, and making that my biggest shot. And it worked out well. I think everybody does need a weapon, and he was very good at spotting what shot for me was going to be my weapon and just really hounding me to work on that shot.
Right, come on, look good.
My father was the one who taught me when I was a kid, and my dad never told me in my whole life, you did this well, good shot, anything. If I hit a good shot, nothing was said. If I missed a shot, all hell broke loose. And all of a sudden I'm working with Nick, and he's telling me things, but then each time encouraging me. Yes, great, beautiful, attaboy.
Today, the kids at the academy play tennis to the rhythm of the techno beat. The portable on-court radios are all tuned into the same Tampa FM station, 93.3 megahertz, the Power Pig.
Bollettieri Tennis Academy, can I help you?
Yeah, can we speak with Nick, please? It's Fat-Headed Mark from the Power Pig. Oh, he'll know exactly who we are.
Just a moment.
He'll put us right through, pal.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
We're stars.
This is Danielle.
Hey, Danielle. How are you this morning?
Fine. Who is this, please?
This is Fat-Headed Mark from the Power Pig.
No. Boris Becker and Andre Agassi.
Oh, yeah, that's who's on the line. Could we talk to Nick, please?
Hold on for just a moment, please.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Hello, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Nick Bollettieri?
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, this is Fat-Headed Mark from 93.3 FM in Tampa.
Don't hang up on us, Nick.
No, yeah, Nick.
Yes, sir.
You know, I got this little fax. I know you guys send out some things with the Tennis Academy and everything, and I was looking through it, and it was talking about some of the superstars that had come through your academy, and some of the cash, to be quite honest with you. They make a lot of money. And we were wondering if we could talk to you and possibly work out a deal where Mark and I kind of attended the academy.
Well, if you can afford it, our
prices, we certainly will take you in as an applicant. If you can't afford it, we do have some scholarships available.
Now, Ford, I think we got a bad connection.
I didn't hear that. You're driving a Ford, Nick? Is that what you said?
No, I said if you can afford the price, we
certainly will take you.
Well, there's big money. There's big money in tennis, Nick. It's just not real big money in radio. What would it take to turn, say, a guy named Moron or Fathead and his buddy Mark into maybe a doubles tennis championship partnership team that wins?
Does he have a little Italian background in him?
Well, no, but keep in mind.
I mean, you have to have a certain charisma to get to a height like that.
I mean, you have to start out with, you know, some formula that you have at least a chance. So if we can start out with that, I think we
can do the rest of the work for you.
I got a funny feeling that Andre Agassi and Jim Courier probably would have just turned out to be no good low-life disc jockeys like us if they had to run into you.
Yeah, but they like your music. That's the main thing.
Fathead and Mark on the radio.
Fathead and Mark in the morning.
Power 93. It's the right kind of love. It's the right kind of night. You're the right kind of girl. Ooh.
But tennis is not only for athletic teenagers. A new adult market has over the last 10 years expanded considerably. At the NBTA, these older juniors have their own facilities, coaches, courts, restaurant and separate lodgings. The weekly program begins with stroke analysis of the forehand.
When I first began teaching the game of tennis, which goes way back to the late 50s, you know, we taught very classical. We had very little body movement. We'd hit the forehand. It's actually how pretty you look with the right foot behind. Pull the left foot back for recovery. The same for the backhand. Now you look at Chains, you look at Couriers and Agassi's hitting the ball, and, you know, Lender with the elbow up and Edberg with the elbow up. You say to yourself, what the heck is going on? What is right and what is wrong? Well, to tell the truth, I don't know what is right or wrong. But I know that there are some things and some factors that never change. the good, solid, ready position to be able to spring off and get the ball. The shoulder and hip rotation. But the forehands today are very different. You have the circular motions, you have the semi-western grips, you have the follow-throughs going out and around your neck. You see the recovery coming in with the right foot coming forward and the left foot actually coming up off the ground, and the recovery starting before the stroke is actually finished. But the big things about the forehands today, they go after the ball, they challenge it. They don't hit the ball on the way down, they try to hit the ball on the way up.
Good. 2 more. Good.
My forehand used to be the weakest part of my game up till 13 years old. And with the help of Nick, you know, I just changing my grip a little bit, and for 2 years going out there hitting the ball as hard as I can without worrying where it goes. Because, you know, someday it'll go in. It's just a philosophy I used to always live by, and they're going in.
Preparation. Contact. Follow through.
There's a lot of intensity in this practice and sort of working on 1 and 2 minute drills. You're better off working on 1 and 2 minute drills in high intensity than, 30 to 40 minutes and just wasting half your time. Look at that right foot come forward again. I want you to watch the left hand on his forehand. Go back there again. I want you to watch what the left hand does for Agassi. I think this is very important for a lot of students to utilize the left hand. All right, here we go. Look, that left hand not only pushes the racket up, but it keeps that left shoulder up and enables him to get underneath the ball and hit below it and then go to a high follow-through. There's that left hand again, holding that racket, pushes it back. There's the balance, the left hand up, and there's the left hand again. Preparation, step, hit, and look how he explodes into it with the right side, very much like using the right side into golf. If you don't, you only hit the ball with your arms or the flick of the wrist, and that's when you have your problems, and also your balance is affected. Well, a weapon would be the same as having an F-15 or an F-16, something that would be able to react under any circumstances and come out the winner in the majority of times. So a student, especially in modern-day tennis, just being able to do everything quite well would have a difficult time making the big time. You have to do everything well, but do 1 or 2 things exceptionally well.
Good preparation. 3, that is fantastic. Look at the racket head speed. 4, you can't hit a ball better. 5, that is the ultimate. That's 6, you cannot do better than that. 7, come on, buddy, come on, man, put out.
I have the ability that God has given to me, the ability to drive a person to a maximum point and still enjoy it because of my positive reinforcement at all times. I don't badger people out in the court. I don't put them down and make them feel like they're nobody. I'll drive them, but I can use choice words to still make them feel that I care about them. And that's what kids are looking for.
Right around it. Very, very good. 1 more, last one. Move those feet. All right, well done, well done. What do you think? That's tough drill. That's tough drill. If you can do this particular drill right here, when they go out to actually play the game and have a ball over there, it's a piece of cake.
Expansion. More students, more instructors, and the need for more facilities. In 1983, Nick took a second risk, borrowed money again, and bought a tomato farm, still in Bradenton. The property was gradually transformed into the present-day academy. 70 outdoor and 4 indoor courts, 2 swimming pools, rooms for 300 full-time and 200 part-time students, a recreation hall, a pro shop, a fitness center with unpleasant-looking weight machines. The whole complex has a science fiction, almost surreal look about it. Nick predictably makes daily inspections and tries to control it all. Does not the constant search for dollars take him away from his basic job as a tennis coach?
The business side and the tennis side go hand in hand. If you're successful in business, then you can award more monies towards scholarship and top players and minority players and those lacking funds to come to the academy. So we cannot separate these two divisions.
The business side to the NBTA is never discreet. A permanent staff of at least 30 have to ensure that enough money is being recouped to pay the costs of the academy, more than $1 million per year. But in spite of appearances, this organization is much more than just a dollar-making machine. Closer inspection reveals that friendship is more important than a contract. The family relationships that prevail here are unique. What else makes the atmosphere so special?
I think it's the charisma, the feeling, holy mackerel, the excitement's on. I mean, the adults are going, the kids are going. Korda, Agassi, Medvedev, I mean, Sampras. I mean, it's, you know, it's a combination of many things. And when you have all this action going on, including the indoor center, and now the new rehabilitation and the new gym and the new recreation center and the lake and kids running and playing in the big pool, you know, all of that fits into it's almost like a bomb that's exploding every second.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
The number one hurdle a new student has to climb over is an evaluation test. Nervous, worried that he might play badly, the young athlete makes his first contact with the Bollettieri instructors. In his eyes, it's almost like playing a major tournament. He is literally treading in the tennis footsteps of Monica Seles and Andre Agassi. Divided into 12 groups, the students compete against each other, but also work together as a team. The instructors, as well as the kids, have their own character. Some are quiet and discreet, others less so.
Deeper now. Let's make them work on the overhead.